Hey guys, welcome on board the ship that will take us to the island of cool teachers. My name is Annette and in this video we will learn to teach using Hollywood blockbusters. So as I said before, today we will talk about movies, and that's what you should say to our students, because if you come and say, well, today we will focus on grammar, we will practice past simple and continuous, and we will learn new vocabulary, they will fall asleep before you finish your sentence. However, some of the information are necessary for us, teachers. So here we go. This topic covers 3 lessons of 45 minutes. The activities are suitable for B1 level or intermediate if you want, but you can modify them easily for lower or higher level if you need. It's good to include these lessons when your students are already familiar with the use information of past simple and past continuous, because they will practice them while developing all the language skills. We will also come across history a little bit, especially the questions of racism and Inquisition. To motivate your students in the beginning, let them watch a trailer of the 5th part of Pirates of the Caribbean and let them guess the topic of your lesson. You can do it in the form of a hangman. Let your students read 3 reviews of the pirates, then pre-teach new vocabulary and ask them to match the reviews with the appropriate score. It's up to you if you choose 3 students to read the reviews aloud or if you let them all work in silence and then announce their answers. But if they're not sure why their answers are correct, underline the key phrases. Divide your students into 2 groups. Let the first group watch an extract from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, but without sound. Ask them to write down everything they can see so they are able to describe the scene later. The second group should be somewhere else while the first one is watching. When they swap, let the second group listen to the sound of the same scene, but without watching the video. Ask them to write down everything they can hear so they are able to describe it later. When you call the first group back to the classroom, ask the students to make pairs, always one from the first group and the second one from the second group. Give them 5 minutes for discussing the scene and to put together their perceptions. Then give them 5 more minutes for summarizing the scene into 5 sentences in past simple and past continuous and writing them down into their notebooks. Then ask them to read their summaries and praise them for their effort. Do not correct grammar if it's not necessary, you can do it later. Now let the whole class watch and listen to the scene again and ask them to fill in the gaps in the script. Then check the answers together and praise them again. Now divide your students into groups. You can do it in a topical way, like those who like horror stories, go to the board, those who like romantic movies, go to the window. Show them the questions related to the scene from Harry Potter and let them discuss the answers. Your task is to monitor and help them, especially with the questions related to history, because there is enough space for discussing the Second World War or the communists, so it would be a pity if you didn't take the advantage of it. In the last 2 minutes, you have time to give them the instructions for their homework. Ask them to work in pairs or groups of 3 and let them choose a scene from their favorite movie. Their task is to learn the dialogues and make a performance for their class in the next lesson, or they can also make a video of this performance. The next lesson they will perform it for their classmates, and the task of the others will be to guess from which movie the scene is. And that's all for the first lesson. Start the second lesson with a video from Oscars 2015. Give your students a worksheet and ask them to circle all the movie stars who appear in the video. Then check it together. You can also talk about their favorite actors, actresses, or favorite movies. Now we will work with the homework from the previous lesson. Challenge your students to present their performances or to play the videos they made. In the end of each performance, ask the audience, the rest of the students, to guess the name of the chosen movie. Then give the performers a short feedback. Now is the right time for secret voting. Ask your students to take a piece of paper and write the name of the scene they like the most. Then collect the papers into a hat, a box, or just pile them up on your desk. Tell your students that you will reward the best performers in the next lesson because they need to get ready for the final ceremony. Ask your students if they know what a thank you speech is and what it usually contains. Then give them the worksheets with various characteristics of thank you speeches and their speakers. Let them watch 3 videos and ask them to match the characteristics in their worksheets with the movie stars from the video. Then check it together. So now your students already know what a thank you speech is, so it's high time to prepare their own speeches in case they become winners next lesson. Ask them to write the speeches in their notebooks. They can have one speech for the whole team, or each member can react separately. Let them choose. To conclude the lesson in 2 minutes, go through the new vocabulary by reading the definitions and eliciting the terms. Praise your students in the end and remind them to be ready for giving a thank you speech in case of getting Oscar next lesson. This is the beginning of the last lesson taught with the help of Hollywood blockbusters. So as a warm-up activity, ask your students to summarize what they have done so far. Show them the verbs and ask them to make sentences in past simple or past continuous. Give them prompt feedback. Now it's time to become familiar with the review. Let your students read the review of Avatar movie and then ask them to divide the text into the individual parts: title, introduction, body, conclusion. Then tell them to underline the concrete examples of general characteristics of a review in the text using different colors. After that, tell them to focus on the author's ideas and to differentiate positive and negative ones by filling the table. When we are checking the answers together, the students can swap their worksheets and correct them to each other. Ask your students to write a review of their favorite movie. First, summarize all the characteristics of a review and then let them write. Don't forget to inform them about remaining time. In the end, collect their notebooks to correct the text. If you have enough time, you can encourage your students to read their work aloud. Finally, we go to the closing ceremony of the topic of movies, which is the announcement of the best actors in the class. So after you congratulate the winners and forward them the Oscar certificates, ask them to give a thank you speech. Don't forget to praise the active students in the end and provide them all the feedback to the reviews. So this is the end. If you find this video useful and don't want to miss another one, please subscribe below the video and you can also leave a comment or like. Thank you for watching.